What equipment and techniques can you use in the treadmill?
So I could use forelimb or hind limb guides, so that would be literally using my hands to guide the limbs into the positions and get a slightly better movement out of them. Where I place my hand will depend on what I would like to get out of the exercise. So if I were using the forelimb, for example, if I were to put my hand up behind the shoulder, so it's above the elbow, I would be extending the limb slightly more, so through the shoulder, extension forward would be nicely increased. If I were to put my hand lower, so it's below the elbow, I have a little bit more control over whether it's the flexion or the extension I'm working on. And then even lower, you'll be working specifically on the flexions there. You can do the same with the hind limbs. The scrunchies are used for proprioception, so you would attach them round, so you've got a nice cross on the front of the paw, tuck them between the middle two toes, and that ultimately makes the animal more aware of that foot that is on. You should only use it for one repetition, so one interval, and remove it, but the effect still should work well for them. TheraBands are used, so they're elasticated bands, so you can either use that to help guide feet from slightly higher up and guide the limb into position. You can also use them to increase some resistance through the water as well, make the limb work a little bit harder. We have a front board, which is ultimately to isolate one of the limbs, so you can either put the front limbs or hind limbs on there, and the other limbs that are on the belt will be encouraged to extend that little bit further, and that works well for them. We have the proprio mats or fit bones, which are good for helping with weight distribution and also proprioception. They've got a textured side, so that helps to bring awareness to the feet. We have steps, which are used just to encourage better placement of the feet and lifting them a little bit better if they're stepping over the top of them there. So you can encourage that kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 placement of the feet, which works a little bit better for those who maybe their pace is a little bit off. And then there are also weights which can be used just to increase some resistance, which is really good for fitness and improve how much work they're having to do through the water, basically.